Hey, what's your favorite music anime? And I don't think there's a wrong answer to that question. You could answer with any banger like K-On!, Your Line April, Given, Nana, Zombieland Saga, Girls Band Cry, Kids on the Slope, Hypnosis Mike. Okay, there might actually be a wrong answer. But nowadays, a lot of people will quickly answer that question with Bocchi the Rock, and it is a great answer. Bocchi isn't just relatable humor and great music, it's a love letter to J-Rock and its scene. It takes everything a band anime can be and cranks it up to 11. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, let me tell you all about it. It all started with Aki Hamazi, born in Miyazaki, where there really wasn't much for her to do as a kid, so she gave drawing a try alongside her sister. Both of them would end up starting their careers as mangaka. Her sister diving into shonen manga, and Hamazi almost going into shoujo before realizing that she wanted to draw moe and 4-koma manga. She first found her footing when writing for Hobunchi's Manga Time Kirara Max magazine, writing 2 volumes of her first manga, Kirari Books Meisochu, for about 2 years. After that finished in 2017, Hamazi wanted to make another moe manga, but this one revolving around bands. Her only real hobby other than manga was music and bands, so she wanted to explore that in a new work. Just one problem: she was never in a band and never played any instruments. So she did some digging, asking people she knew that were more into Japan's indie band scene questions, doing further reading and listening on the culture and music, and visiting prominent spots within the indie scene. One of the more notable locations she went to was Shelter, a live house in Shimokitazawa that was the core reference for the series Livehouse Starry. When she was conceptualizing the story, she was not only competing with K-On's legacy, which was also a Hobuncha published work, but also that series' impending return. As such, Hamazi was deliberate in focusing less on the school environment and more on the Livehouse environment. Decisions that drew less influence from K-On! And more from Beck, which also dealt a lot with a rock band trying to make it in the scene and beyond. Bocchi the Rock originally started running in December 2017 and has since published 7 volumes to date. It had a presentation and flair that was different from what people might expect from Kirara Max. Merely looking at covers, you can see that most series have a bubbly, cutesy aesthetic at large, whereas Bocchi's, while still cute, has a sleeker, cooler look to it. Its characters too were deliberately streamlined to help them stand out. One other unique touch to these characters were their names, all of them being named after the members of Asian Kung Fu Generation, a band that had been a favorite of Hamazi's for years. As for the manga itself, its sharp humor, visuals, and strong characters kept it running, and eventually, the chance for an anime adaptation presented itself. Directed by Keiichiro Saito, who was making his directorial debut with this and then following up with frfr, and holy shit, that's a filmography. Bocchi the Rock's anime adaptation under Cloverworks released in the 2022 fall season, and nobody was really talking about it before it came out. But after it was said and done and it finished airing, if people didn't know what Bocchi was, they do now, because oh my god, they cooked to an astronomical degree! So the story focuses on Hitori Goto, aka Bocchi, a high school girl with comically crippling social anxiety. But she's really good at guitar. Like, really good. So much so that she has a modestly large following online. She doesn't super enjoy being alone all the time, but that very quickly changes when some girl asked her to play in her band, and then we're off to the races from there. Dude, this wastes no time of getting into the meat and potatoes of things. This fact is further emphasized in the opening. I don't know how this reaches straight into your soul before you can even realize it, but it does, and this whole show is just go, go, go. Really, within the first third of the season, the members of Kessoku Band are introduced, and even more impressively, their goals and intentions are outlined, and the show says very abruptly that, hey, this is what this is what they're about, enjoy the ride because it's not stopping. It would be a disservice to discuss Bocchi without talking about its humor and animation. If anyone's seen anything from this show, it's probably some out of context, out of pocket clip. Like, you've seen this by now, and I know you have. There's a very minuscule crop of shows that really go the extra mile in its visuals to tell a joke, and Bocchi is undoubtedly one of those shows. I could keep showing gag after gag and relish in the fact that if the animation does something absurdly out there, it was probably based on something like Bocchi feeling like she could get judo flipped by a pill bug. As much as its visual humor is in equal parts funny and impressive, that doesn't negate the other elements of the animation and presentation that make Bocchi what it is. One word that really describes Bocchi's genius is unspoken. As much as people talk about the jokes, not nearly as many people seem to talk about how there's a clear taste for how scenes are shot and, more importantly, how the littlest details are conveyed. Kessoku Band's audition is a great example of this. Like, you tell me what other show is gonna show the water bottle vibrating in response to the PA, or Nijika trying to keep in time with the song. It's the little things that give Bocchi an extra layer of legitimacy, and it helps that the cast is astonishingly perfect. Man, how such a distinct cast of characters exists in a show like this goes beyond anything you could possibly expect. They're characters that are realized from the start and continue to flourish with that insanely strong foundation. None of the members of Kessoku Band are too alike, not just in the decisions they make, but the posing and character acting that drives their differences home, giving their variations more nuance. Likewise, the story doesn't depend on the dynamics between the characters. While they exist and they're great, it's the individuality of the characters themselves that doesn't ever get lost. Nijika, as the leader of the group, carries a spunk that helps lead the way. She's well aware of the ambitions her bandmates have and wants to be the one that facilitates that. On the flip side, Rio, having been burned by a band that wanted to sell out, found solace in a new band because it gave her the opportunity to write more honest music. Kita is probably what you'd imagine a music anime protagonist to be like, and we've seen similar characters already. But her arc, from oblivious to all things music to a respectable member of the band in her own right, being pushed away from the main focus, gives that character and that arc a new perspective that makes it feel fresh. And Bocchi herself, the center of it all, on paper shouldn't be, but plays that role so well. This is a protagonist you don't think of when you think of a story from Akira or a Max manga. Heck, it's not something you'd expect from any anime, but it is something this series owns with pride. Her anxiety holds her back in so many ways, but the story actively pushes her to overcome those things, and she actively takes steps those steps to better herself. There's so much you can point to as evidence, but I'm gonna focus on episode 6. It's Bocchi's first time really playing in front of a crowd, accompanied by an alcoholic bassist that's been bothering her all day, which, love her too, by the way. Up to this point, it's been set up that Bocchi isn't equipped for this. In fact, she's actively terrified. Even Hiyori's words warning her not to get confused who her enemies were isn't getting through to her at all until a supporting cheer from the crowd gets her to look up and face the reality that she really doesn't have any enemies in a sequence that is so heartfelt and is just one of many for Bocchi. Her victories are small, but every decision she makes, every bit of confidence she musters to express and assert herself give the viewer a sense of pride. When you put all these characters together, a peppy girl that wants to lead a memorable rock band, an introvert that wants to create music true to herself and her bandmates, an extrovert that wants to become something more, and everything Bocchi is and wants to be, you have Kessoku Band, the conjoining of 4 sets of hopes from 4 very different people that tie together as one band to create something truly special. One spot in this show that really shows what this band represents is their first live show. Off the bat, a typhoon cuts their anticipated audience significantly, but they still get to play and nah, this ain't it, dude. They all worked so hard to get to this point, and it feels like something this bad could end their ambitions before they really got started. Then Bocchi, the most reluctant one who can barely hold a conversation, decides to take charge and keep all their hopes alive. This decision is a testament to all the experiences Bocchi has had thus far and what being a member of this band means to her. Side note, they use this really cool shot periodically, which is a perfect metaphor that this is now Bocchi's time to shine. It's a moment that gets the others to snap out of it, regroup, and rock on. And then BAM! An explosive ensemble that knocks your ass to and through the wall in a moment that is simultaneously as flooring as it is thrilling. It's a defining moment of this show and this music, and I haven't touched on the music, have I? The influences are undeniable. Asian Kung Fu Generation, Kanabun, Blue Encount, the guitar-driven sound that's definitive of what J-Rock has been throughout the entire 21st century. That sound mixed with strong, heavy lyrics is what makes up Kessoku Band's own sound. The emotional weight of the lyrics feel like they were actually written by Bocchi herself, giving the music a faithful connection to the source material. Numbers don't lie, so let me tell you that as musical releases dropped, they did gangbusters. Many singles peaked within the top 20 of Japan's Oricon singles chart, some even making Japan's Hot 100. The band's eponymous album reached #1 on the Oricon albums and combined albums charts, and Japan's Hot 100 albums, and sold over 263,000 copies, reaching platinum status. Come on! The music of Kessoku Band is all gas, no breaks, and I don't know, you have ears! Typically, a music multimedia project was designed to be multimedia, but there's no way anybody could predicted that this manga would attain everything it has, because the project has not only extended to live shows, but has also become a stage play. Everything about Bocchi the Rock is phenomenal. I can't think of one glaring issue with it, except for the worst thing about being a Bocchi fan: waiting for season 2. You might think that an anime that was so surprisingly successful that word regarding a second season would come soon, right? Left. It may be because of the show's initial low expectations or something, I don't know, but there was nothing for a while. The moment it looked like that some announcement was going to be made, nope, recap movie. To be fair, the movie did allow for more exposure for Bocchi the Rock, and it did do really well. And wait, new music? But other than that, why wouldn't you just watch season 1? You don't miss out on anything, and I feel like everyone involved hit the nail on everything that this show could be. Even after 2 years of no news on season 2, at this point, there's an acceptance in playing the waiting game. No way. This can't be real. Bocchi the Rock season 2 is actually happening. I can't believe it. Everything I've tried to do in life has all been worth it for this one moment. At this point, I don't care how long it takes. I can live and sleep in peace knowing it's coming. The fact that I feel the way I do about Bocchi is a testament to how it resonated with me. Like many, I connected with Bocchi in my own way because there's something about her innate personality and the journey she goes on that is relatable. The disconnect between the comfort she feels about the online world and the struggles to connect with real people is something that I think a lot of people can relate to in particular. Heck, Hamazi herself probably identifies with Bocchi more than anybody on the planet. Hamazi also could not have expected the way Bocchi was received following the anime's release. She had a small booth at Comiket 101 as the show was wrapping up, and very quickly the line she accrued was beyond what the space could handle, so she had to be moved outside to accommodate it. Even then, everything she sold was gone by 1 o'clock. After the show finished, manga sales exploded to a point where the present supply couldn't keep up. The next month, in January 2023, Hobuncha announced that 1 million copies were in circulation, then 2 million in March, and then 3 million the following January. The intensity to how people connect with Bocchi is a testament to one of its most poignant messages. It may not resonate with everybody, but for those it does, it'll hit deeply. Bocchi the Rock feels like it was meant for the introvert, or the person that feels their own sort of isolation and loneliness. And to those people, there's the message that you can find yourself even if it's not in the place you or anybody else expects. The parts that make it up may be elements you can find in other stories, but the way they meld together in Bocchi is what makes it Bocchi. Hamazi's love for J-Rock is evident in how that love is displayed within Kessoku Band and the atmosphere she crafted. And the anime takes us to a whole other level to give what might be the best band anime that you could watch, with the best music I've heard from a show like this. I'm not sure what else you could ask for from this show. But if I had to say anything, please do a cover of After Dark. I would kill to hear that cover. And, very kindly, give us a dub! If you relate to it in any way, then it's gonna have a grip on you, and it won't let go. And you wouldn't want it to. Beyond hilarious jokes and banging songs, it's because of that X factor where the desire to pursue what makes you special is the element to Bocchi that shines the brightest. And that is the essence of Bocchi's rock. Bocchi the Rock!
チゲだ、ファンキーだ、みんな黙って俺についてこい、チゲだ、 ファンキーだみんな必死で俺についてこいカモンチゲだファンキーだみんな黙って俺についてこいイエチゲだファンキーだみんな必死で俺に